Even though my day started off a little bit rough here, I came across one piece of news that I liked. I stumbled across BloodyElbow.com. Conor McGregor was in some kind of a dust-up with Faraz. Now, I don't love that. And as you guys know, I see a difference between athletes and coaches. I don't think that athletes should come after coaches. That is my own personal belief. But as I'm reading about this dust-up, I then went over to something the kids call the Underground Forum. And Barry Bonds, MVP, had posted, whether this is accurate or not, I just chose to believe it, that Conor McGregor was in talks with Paulie to box. I will tell you why I like this. First, I don't know if this is accurate, but I do know it is accurate that earlier in the week, Conor McGregor called out that Japanese gentleman, the kickboxer that had just fought Floyd. And as ridiculous as that may sound, I do like the angle being pursued here by Conor. There's a lot of things that Conor can do. And one thing that Conor said when he came in this sport, and he says it a number of times, I'm changing the game. And as many times as he said it, I sat back and looked at it and said, well, you haven't changed a damn thing. In fact, you haven't even caught up with the game. But over time, I will give it to him. He has done things that have absolutely changed the game. He has negotiated contracts. He has fluctuated between sports, moved weight classes, moved the needle, and done things that nobody else has done. What I would suggest for you, and I don't know that I'm correct, but I've certainly got a couple of clues. One from his call-out of the Japanese kickboxer, and two, for the rumor started on the underground, which not for nothing does tend to, where there's smoke turns out to be fire, is when you talk about what's going to be next for Conor, it doesn't necessarily have to be by the book. There's not actually anything within him or his draw ability that says he needs to be fighting top contenders, and he needs to be fighting for championships, and he needs to be fighting the hardest fights of all time. Or at that time. If he was to take a script from Floyd Mayweather's book, who has made a career and a meaningful name in this space for himself for a meaningful period of time. Floyd didn't do any of those things. Floyd fought a bunch of bums. Bunch of bums. Half of them I couldn't name. Floyd's had 50 fights. I think I've seen them all. I think I could probably name 6 to 8 of them for you. Definitely could not hit 10. So why in the... And it's not just Floyd. I just offer Floyd because he's a recent name that just fought one of those bums. He's a name that you guys would know, but that's been the boxing model for years. That's what Anthony Joshua is doing right now. Right now. It's what Mike Tyson did. It's what Holyfield... All I'm offering to you is that in MMA, we don't do that. It's iron on iron every single time. In boxing, take out a bunch of bums. In wrestling, they call it squash matches. They call it enhancement talent. Undercard guys, jobbers, guys like Tito, right? In fairness. There's a lot of that goes on. So why could Conor McGregor, who has in fairness changed many parts of the game, not adopt that one? Why could he not go to Japan for a special one-off and take a Japanese kickboxer? As MMA fans, we're quickly going to push back and goes, well, that makes no sense. You will clobber the guy. Yeah, so what? So what? Mike Tyson became 29-0, clobbering jobbers who you couldn't name, couldn't recognize, and in fights that you never saw that took place at the dog park. But in boxing, it was very important to have over 20 fights and have an O in the loss column. That was just a really important element of boxing. If you lost 10 fights in boxing, you were a bum. You were a bum. They would never talk about you. They'd never sign you. You'd never be seen on TV again. MMA, it doesn't work that way. Most of the greats, everybody's got a loss, including John Jones. Many times as I've heard people try to rewrite history, John Jones has a loss. Most guys have a whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of them. But it's a different sport. So as we like to push back and say, well, Conor, that's ridiculous. Conor, that isn't competitive. Conor, you and Paulie doesn't make any sense, and there's no title on the line. Conor's going to sit back and retort with you the same as Floyd Mayweather and the same as Mike Tyson. Are you going to watch? And you're going to have to sit there and respond, yeah, Conor, I am. I don't care if you're grappling or arm wrestling. There's something special about your lore. There's something special about your entertainment. And yes, I'm going to watch. So then Conor's going to sit back and respond. Then why would I only fight number one contenders? Why would I only fight world championship fights? Why would I only fight iron on iron? Why would I not slip in the boxing and the wrestling model that has been around forever, which is to take on a bunch of bums and a bunch of enhancement talent and a bunch of undercard jobbers, and once every couple of years, get in there with a contender? That's what combat's been built around. Football and basketball, Tiger and Serena, they take on a bunch of bums. And then a couple of times a year, there's a real competition and a real tournament. So perhaps that is the direction that Conor is going. I don't know if he is. I am suggesting to you perhaps. And if that is accurate, and if he is going to bring in the enhancement talent model that has been around, far surpassing the time of MMA, that may not be wonderful for MMA, but that would be very good for Conor. And that would be very intelligent by Conor. And if that is what we are seeing, and Conor is now answering the question for us that what is next for Conor is something fun, something baffling, something competitive, combative, and a spectacle, and that is the realm and the seat that he wants to fill for a period of time. Hats off to him.